Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you tonight for this premiere video tonight. Hopefully you will enjoy this next end of the year video for OK to Meh albums of 2024 video. So I'm going to discuss from numbers 13 to 1 what I'm going to be talking about in this video. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I'll try to keep it short and brief if I can. And I'll let you know what I think of each album that I listened to that were OK to Meh, in my opinion. So let's dive into number 13, which is The Offspring with Supercharged. Now, this record has grown on me throughout time, but I think it's an okay record. It is one of the strongest records in the OK section of this list. That's why I put it at the top of the list, because there were some good gripes about it. The second half was a lot better of this record. Then you had a few other songs that were alright, like Fall Guy was alright. Make It Alright was just bad. That was the one that really disappointed me. I thought it would grow on me, but it really didn't. Okay, but This Is the Last Time is a solid track in its own way. But Truth and Fiction was a great song, along with Come to Brazil, Get Some. Get Some was a little on the fence at times, but it still did rock for sure. Hanging by a Thread and You Won't, You Can't Get There From Here, or whatever the song's name is, the last song on the record. Pretty much at the end of the day, Looking Out for Number 1, Light It Up was a good one. So there were a few highlights for this record, but overall, I think Dexter kind of played with his vocals a little too much in this record to make it an okay record. But I put it at the top of the list because this is a record I do come back to occasionally. Number 12 is Megan Thee Stallion with Megan. Now, this record has surprisingly grown on me a little, but not to the extent where I come back and listen to it a lot. But there were some good moments about this record, like Boa, Hiss. There were some other songs on here, but there were a few cringy ones from time to time that kind of bugged me. But overall, I did enjoy her diss towards Nicki Minaj, the Hiss song. It was an interesting track, and pretty much this whole record performed okay for the most part. The last song, I think, was Cobra, and that was actually not a bad song. I did enjoy the guitar riffs and all that towards the end of the song, and pretty much through some points in the song. But other than that, Megan Thee Stallion put out something interesting this year, and it was on the safe side in an okay way. Number 11 is Childish Gambino with Bando Stone in the New World. This one was an okay one too. I put it in the top 10 or top 13, but overall there were some songs I came back to. Like the first song is an acquired taste. It's not for every listener, but it takes time to get used to this record. And I just found it to be on the safe side of the okay list, okay section of this list, but overall, there were some tracks I came back to and some I didn't. So, that was my number 11 pick. Number 10 is Kid Cudi with Insano. Now, the only song I had some issues with was Wow. Give me a second, I gotta pause the video real quick. Sorry about that, guys. Had to pause the video. My mom needed my assistance real quick. So, pretty much Kid Cudi and Insano did have some interesting songs on here, but there were a few that I had my negative gripes about that I was on the fence with and thought were meh to okay tracks. So that's my number 10 pick. Number 9 is Jennifer Lopez with This Is Me Now. Now, this record, the title track was interesting. It did have a good title track. I'll give it credit where it's due there. There were some other ones, like Rebound, kind of got repetitious, and it wasn't one of the best songs, but it was kind of meh. And there were some other ones, like Only One, I think is one of the songs. And then, what's that song? Can't Get Enough. That one kind of got a little too iffy, and not in a good way. So it was not one of the best records, but it was on the nose and on the safe side of being okay. So I put it in the okay section in the top 10. Number 8 is Tinashe with Quantum Baby. Now this one is another okay record. There was one song on here that I thought was kind of cringy, and not in a good way. But everything else was on the fence and solid. Nasty was kind of not one of the best tracks, but Tinashe doesn't have terrible vocals, and I think she's a talented artist, but the biggest critique I have with her latest stuff is she's not putting effort into some of the tracks and with her vocals, and she's kind of playing with her vocals a little too much, and it's not really connecting. There are some cringe points with it, but on the bright side, this record didn't make it in the worst albums, I'll tell you that, but it is an okay album. So that's my number 8 pick. Number 7 is Normani with Dopamine, not Norman D with Dopamine, Normani, the R&B rap artist. So pretty much her record was alright, but it wasn't one of my favorites. I think there were some critiques I had with her new record, but execution-wise, it performed alright. It's on the nose with me. It's the last okay section, and I put it at the bottom part of the okay section because after this we're going into the mass section of this, and you'll find out what the mass album of 2024 will be come close to the end of the video. But I think there were some songs on Dopamine that were alright, but other than that, this is not a record I come back to that often. So that's my number 7 pick. Now to the mass section, starting with number 6, Kali Uchis with Orquídeas. I believe is how you pronounce it. I wasn't that much of a fan of this. I never came back to this because it was something that I didn't feel was her best effort. It was meh, but it was on the top tier of meh. So I gave it a 6 out of 10 because there were some songs I wasn't connecting with and kind of bored with. But overall, I think execution-wise, this was a meh record for what it went for. Number 5 is Willow with a Pathogen. Now, we're now in the top 5, so this is where the list is gonna be iffy to some people, but not terrible. Like, for me, I didn't hate Willow's new record, but I didn't love it that much to say it's a great record. It's just meh. This record kind of felt on the fence with me and in the middle. Like, there were some songs on here that she was trying to sound, Motown in a way with some of her music, and bluesy or whatever she was trying to do. But it just, some parts of it wasn't working, and some songs were working. But execution-wise, this is a meh record. Number 4 is Lainey Wilson with Whirlwind. Now, I think 4x4 by You was kind of annoying of a track. There was another song on here. It wasn't 4x4 by You, but it was another track that I was so displeased with. I think the title track's good. That is a song I do come back to from time to time. But there were some other ones that I wasn't too much of a fan of and were the most disappointing. But the lead single was solid. You have to remind me in the comment section below what the lead single is, because this is an album I don't come back to that often as of lately. But I did hear it through the year and towards the third quarter of this year, and it was meh. So that's my number 4 pick. Number 3 is Mushroomhead with Call the Devil. Now, this one is a meh record. There were some tracks like Fall in Line. That wasn't one of my favorites. It was kind of meh. But at least they made a little bit of a better record than the 2020 disaster, which was A Wonderful Life. This one was a little bit better, and in a solid way. So this is something that I know Mushroomhead is trying to evolve with their sound and trying to make it more infused metal in a way, like new metal stuff. But in a way, I think Mushroomhead does have talent, but it's just some of the vocals in here are kind of faded out in a bit in some areas from the actual screaming vocalist. His vocals sound like it's in the background and it's hard to hear him from time to time. But other songs on this record are pretty solid, but some of them are kind of meh. So that's my number 3 pick. Number 2 is Jelly Roll with Beautifully Broken. I wish this could have been at a topper at a certain part in, probably not in the top 5 or the top 2, but he made it at number 2 because of 2 tracks sucking. One was an MGK track off his regular edition. The other one was Lonely Road. That is a copycat track of Country Road. And that shit pisses me off. Like, honestly, MGK has no talent whatsoever. I swear, Jelly Roll was basically hanging around with people that are not good people, to be quite honest. And I just think this whole record, Beautifully Broken, had some fair songs like I'm Not Okay. That was a good song. And Liar was good. There were some other ones I was interested in, like the opening track was pretty solid. But execution-wise, this record did not do it too much for me. Because a few tracks did disappoint me. So it's the runner-up for the Masked Album of the Year. And now at number 1, drum roll please, Charli XCX with Brat. Now this is the Masked Album of 2024 for the year. I was not feeling for this record. There were some tracks that I was not connecting with, but there were other tracks that were kind of meh and played it in the middle with me, played it safe with me. But execution-wise, I think this record was almost a flop. Almost a flop. And I think Charli XCX tried something, but it didn't execute too well. I mean, Crash was probably a better record than this. This was just like EDM, whatever the fuck you call it stuff, disco stuff that I was not connecting with. There were some execution points with the production that were kind of flopping in a way. But overall, I think with this record, she tried something, but it did not succeed execution-wise. So this is going to be the Masked Album of the Year for Charli XCX Brat. congratulations, you won the Mast album on my list of 2024. It's not on the terrible list, but it's on the okay to meh albums list. And you're my number one. So, that is going to be it for this okay to meh albums of 2024 video. The next video for end of the year video is okay to meh movies of 2024. I don't think I'm going to get all the okay to meh movies done. I want to try to finish Omni Loop and get that out of the way, and then continue on with other movies. But other than that, I don't think I'm gonna get every single movie on the okay to meh movies. So I'll probably stop at Omni Loop and then go on with the okay to meh movies of 2024 list and get started with that. But I'm in the late September releases of movies, so I'm getting there, but it's still a grind. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the okay to meh albums of 2024 end of the year video, and I will see you guys in my next review.